Hey guys, we're gonna try and get a quick little video in this week. I wasn't going to do one because it's been raining and it's going to be raining, and you may hear in the background some thunder because it's going to be raining again. And you know, I don't keep like a bank of stuff to do, and I really kind of rely on feeling what God wants me to say. And I was kind of struggling last weekend about trying to come up with some things to say. Like I have stuff that's like pre-written, but just didn't feel right. Just didn't feel like what God wanted me to say. And then, you know, with the rain, I was like, you know, I'll just skip this week, start again fresh next week maybe, spend some time, you know, meditating, talking with God, and figuring out kind of what the next steps are. Well, due to some animal issues, I ended up staying home last Sunday, but I try not to go without a sermon. So, that's a little bit better. So, I listened to a sermon by Adrian Rogers by myself, and through that I definitely heard God kind of talking and speaking, and felt compelled to kind of switch things up a little bit. So I haven't written anything, it's not super planned out, it's definitely just kind of more kind of coffee shop conversation style, but still very real and important. So if there's a lot of like breaks and transitions, it's because I haven't really, like, I don't have a set agenda for this, and I am just kind of rambling, so I'll just try and keep the good parts and see what comes up out of it. So the message that I listened to by Adrian Rogers was called A Thief in the Night. So I was thinking it's going to be like about Satan or whatever, you know. But to my surprise, it actually was about the second coming of Christ. And that in 1 Thessalonians, it talks about how the coming of Christ will be a surprise to everyone, like a thief in the night. And I was like, that's such a weird analogy. Like, you think about the second coming of Christ, and it's, you know, the day that kind of Christians are not necessarily looking forward to, but we're looking forward to eternity with God, you know, when he comes and creates the new earth and everything. So it's kind of weird to have this language of the second coming will be like a thief in the night. Like, it's just kind of a dark analogy. Well, then he starts talking about how the signs of the time is going to be like the time of Noah and the flood. That's what society is going to be like. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean? So the story of Noah is found in Genesis chapter 6. And it talks about how the people of the earth were intermingling or having sexual relations, and it was talking about the sons of God with the sons of man. And I've always just assumed that was like the equivalent of like a Christian marrying a non-Christian, like, so it's believer marrying a non-believer. But as I started digging and doing a little bit more research, the more accurate translation would be referring to the sons of God being angels or fallen angels. That was just a really weird concept to me. So you're telling me that in the times of Noah, it was like demons or people possessed by demons having relations, and I guess basically like polluting like the human genetics? Something like that? I don't know. It was like way far out theology stuff that I honestly hadn't really thought about. But they made some interesting points that this kind of idea of relations is prevalent in the occult. And whether or not it's demon possessed, we know that kind of having perverse sexual relations is definitely a big part of that. But then it talked about like other things in Noah's time that besides the sexual perversions, it was very prosperous, you know, and there were a lot of people, like we'd grown to such a multitude, you know. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so I can definitely see similarities between that and where it looks like we're headed. Especially these past few years. I don't know if it's maybe bothered some of you as much as it has me. So America has been pretty prosperous, especially over the last, 150 years, something like that. It's been quite remarkable, and we've lived quite cushy lives, to be honest. We're definitely like the 1 percentile of the rich in comparison to most people of the world, which is kind of amazing and kind of a big blessing. But if you look back, not even just in the Bible, but just through human history, there comes a great fall, usually after a long time of being prosperous, right? It happened with Rome. My husband and I were just watching a special on Pompeii and all the buildings that they had uncovered and the cool things that they, like how sophisticated they were living with aqueducts, and they had fast food places, all throughout their neighborhood. They took baths, right? That's like the big Roman thing of we're better than other people because we're concerned about our hygiene and stuff. But the Roman Empire was conquered. It didn't last. And you can look back, whether it's you're looking in the East with the Chinese cultures, dynasties come and go, governments come and change and fall. Or you can look at what's happening in America today. Like, whether or not, historians want to admit it, we were founded on Christianity. Okay, we were founded on God. And we've received quite a bit of blessings because of it. But if I'm looking at America today, especially just like the past 10 years, stuff that's happened, and it's really amped up here the last couple of years, it's just gotten weird, scary, and dark. And definitely here, very recently, the sexual perversion thing has become quite just a hot button topic, And it's interesting because, like, I expect that of the world. I expect it of people who aren't saved. But I don't expect the church to be so accepting of it. And it really has been lately.